Hello everybody and welcome to my very first speed build video on my channel. I've done some I've done one house walkthrough video before. But this time I'm actually doing a build challenge, like a shell build challenge. The person who posted it is a simmer by the name of Dr. Ashley. She is far more well known than I am. I am not really known at all. But I really like her content, and I've been thinking about doing a shell challenge for a while, like just to sort of, you know, have like inspiration to build something, because when I build stuff on my own it always ends up being the same kind of sort of suburban country home thing. Like if you take a look at my last Sims house video on my channel, you'll see the kind of style that I usually build. So I thought that the shell that she put up as her challenge basis looked really interesting, and I definitely would not get away with building a suburban on it. So yes. So as you can see now, I'm kind of struggling with two of these, like the opposite of an indent, like an extent? I don't know what they're called, the pokey out bit on the side of the house. I was really struggling with them because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with them at first, and then I sort of figured, well, you know, there's so many of them, I might get away with making them look like blinds, like you know what you kind of find on old-fashioned houses, blinds like that, the folding out ones that you can sort of connect together outside the window. I don't know how to explain them properly in English, but anyway, so yes, I faffed around with them a lot until I finally was happy with them. I ended up making them black actually, and not the brown, because I did want to go for a more sort of wood tones kind of a house, but then everything just completely changed. And yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to go for a more like well, I guess suburban-y look with the roof style, and then I very quickly realized I had to go more modern than that. And so based on that consensus, there's also a lot of glass in the house, you know, glass roofs as well, and stuff like that. It's actually my first time playing around with glass roofs, so I was pretty happy that I, you know, was able to challenge myself in that regard. And yeah, I went with like an interesting kind of concrete roof situation. Personally not my taste, but I remember seeing some similar kinds of styles in this one series on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it's to do with like these fancy houses all over the world that are like architectural wonders or something, and like they go and review the houses basically and talk about the structure and stuff like that. And a lot of the time there's really modern glass situations, I guess, going on, and yeah, that's basically what inspired me. So here you can see now I'm changing the color because I decided that I didn't know what I was doing with the wood. And then that actually led me to really confuse myself with the rules of the challenge, because generally in build challenges you're just not allowed to edit the shell. But I didn't know to what extent. So like, for example, the trim on that little balcony area at the bottom, the trim of the half wall on it, I didn't know if I was allowed to change the color of that. I did change it in the end, but you know, I felt bad. And here you can see on the top floor, I really wanted to do a half wall there, but I didn't know if I was allowed to use half walls, because you're not allowed to use full walls on the outside. So I didn't know if half walls counted as a part of that logic. So I just decided to go with a fence, and then I tried to make the half wall at the bottom look like the fence as well, which was kind of cheaty, but I didn't technically change anything, so you know, I think I got away with it. But yeah, the house itself isn't too big. I was surprised when I was editing the video and I sped it up and it still ended up being as long as it is. I was very surprised by that. But, you know, there's not really much I can do now, because if I sped it up more, then you wouldn't really be able to see anything. And I just know personally from my experience, you know, watching Sims videos, which I do a lot in my free time, that I don't enjoy when it's so fast that I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So, you know, I try to keep it watchable, although I don't really know how watchable an hour-long video is. Although James Turner's videos are pretty long, so, you know, maybe it's watchable. Maybe it's Maybelline. God, my humor is so cringy. I'm sorry, I was in school all day today, like online school. You know, with the quarantine situation going on, my school is actually one of the first ones that's, like, letting people go back for full days and stuff, but we still have to switch it out every so often with, like, online school because of just the sheer amount of students. And it's just so exhausting. Online school is so much more exhausting than physical school at my school, because my school, I'm studying game art, which is, you know, also one of the reasons why I'm into The Sims and stuff. Yeah, at school it's much more, I guess, relaxed than online, where, you know, they have to be able to see that you're paying attention because you aren't in physical attendance, so it's just a pain in the behind. Anyway, so the basic, I guess, editing of the outside of the house is pretty much done. I'm just fixing up the windows now. I had a fair amount of difficulty choosing windows because, as I'm sure you know, there are no garage doors in The Sims 4, which is so annoying because pretty much all my houses have garages because it's just like such a normal part of a real world house. So I had such a hard time coming up with, you know, a workaround, I guess, because garages in The Sims 4, when you do them the way I do them, always end up looking like, I don't know, really big. So trying to find, you know, like a panel for that area of wall to make it look like a door was just really difficult. One that didn't make it look bigger, because some panels, in my experience at least, actually make it look bigger. But in the end I just sort of settled on that one. I think it's from Eco Living, I don't know. I've actually only been playing The Sims for a little while now. The Sims 4, that is, because I was one of the people that decided to stick with The Sims 3 when The Sims 4 came out. I tried it for a bit, way back in the day when it actually came out, but it was just, I hated it. It was so bad. It was just so incomplete. I just couldn't. So I really waited, and it's only like about a month ago now, a month and a half ago, that I started playing The Sims again. And it's so sad. I got like, because when I started playing again, I saw on Origin that I had, I think, 300 logged hours of The Sims from back in 2016. And in the last like month alone, I've already added like something like 200 extra hours to that. Oh, which is so tragic. But quarantine got me like that, I guess. So at least I have something to do, I guess. But yeah, then that area at the back I really didn't know what to do with, so I ended up using those beam things, those wooden like stick panel things, to imitate like a wall, I guess. So I wasn't explicitly cheating, but I was kind of cheating. So if Dr. Ashley sees this, you know, I'm sorry. Your shell was great, but it was too challenging for the likes of me. So I'm sorry. But yes, so anyway, I'm really struggling to find things to talk about because I'm not used to talking to like my computer. It's so weird doing this, but I really enjoy building, and I thought that, you know, when I make builds that I'm actually proud of, you know, you'd want to share that kind of a thing. So I was deliberating just putting music over this whole thing, but there are parts of the house that I wanted to actually explain, but not all of them, because there isn't really an explanation for everything. Some of the stuff is just stupid because it's stupid. Like with most of the things I build, there's just like a sense of stupidity to a lot of it. One thing that ended up being a bit stupid with this house, like seriously stupid, was the fact that there's 2 lounges. I really had no idea what to do on the top floor, because originally I wanted to have the living area on the top floor, but then when I was building the lower floor, I just built a lounge into the sort of conservatory area, and then I guess I got too lazy to delete it. So that happened. Anyway, yes. This house was, it was something. It took so long to build, and usually when I build houses this size, it doesn't take me that long. It takes maybe a couple of hours, but I was recording this house for, let me just look, actually, I'm curious. It ended up being, one part was 3 hours and one part was 40 minutes. Yeah, it took me about 4 hours to build, which honestly isn't that bad, but at the same time it's not great. You know, for the size of the house, it's not great. So I'm definitely going to work on improving my build times for future videos so that they hopefully don't end up being this long, because I don't think anyone wants to sit through an hour and 16-minute long video. But that's also why I've put timestamps in the like video descriptions thing, so that you can see, you know, the chapters of what part of the build is when, so that you can skip to the bits that you want to watch, because whilst it is kind of important to me to get view time at the moment, because in order to become eligible for monetization I need a certain amount of views first, I still don't want to force anyone to watch an hour and 16 minutes of me being indecisive. Oh god. Anyway, so you just saw that I added that little tuft of grass over here to this half wall, and then I changed the color because I really wanted it to look like the other like balcony colors that I chose, which was kind of cheaty, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. I also wanted to add a column thingy, like a debug column to the corner there, but I forgot. I forgot to do a lot of things in this house. I got so stressed towards the end that it had been going on for so long that I was just like, oh, just finish already. So, yeah, not one of my finest moments, but overall I'm still happy with the house. I still think it turned out quite nice. You know, it's quite airy, like roomy, I guess, on the inside. You know, even though the rooms aren't too big, it still doesn't feel cramped, I don't think. Even though I went for some dark wood tones, for example, in the kitchen, and well, I guess I went for some darker tones in the bathroom as well. I think somehow I still managed to make it look kind of like roomy-ish. And I also decided to build in Windenburg because personally I just really like the grass in Windenburg. And it's not really a town I've played in that much because I only got all of these expansion packs a couple of weeks ago with the last sale. And I still don't have all expansion packs, so whilst this house is kind of pack heavy, it's not 100%, you know, pack heavy. But yeah, I only got the expansion packs a couple of weeks ago, so I haven't really had the time yet to play around with absolutely everything. But I've almost finished, like, building up Newcrest, and I have a like legacy family that I'm playing with currently, and right now they live in Brindleton Bay. They did live in Newcrest, but they actually outgrew their house because at one point I had, I think, 10 Sims in my house, And I don't know. Like, don't even ask, because I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me that I ended up with so many Sims. But yes. And one of them actually married Thorn Bailey's son, Orange Bailey Moon. And I didn't realize that he already had a child. So now his son lives in a different house to him. And now he has another child with one of my Sims, and it's just chaos. My Sims family tree is just insane. It's so stupid. But I wouldn't change it for the world. It's so fun. I'm enjoying it so much. But one thing I'm honestly not well, I say enjoying, it's not out yet. One thing I'm not looking forward to so much is the new Nifty Knitting pack. And I know that that's probably quite a controversial opinion, but there's a reason, and the reason is that I really honestly think that they should have made it part of like an overarching pack, or is that the right word? I don't know. Anyway, part of a bigger experience, I guess, just focused on hobbies in general, because I feel like knitting, like how many people actually knit? I mean, I knit, but that's besides the point. I'm weird, so. But like, oh, excuse me, I ate food a while ago and I have like indigestion now. It's so terrible, I'm sorry. Anyway, aside from like a few simmers, how many people actually knit in real life? How many people, not in quarantine, but in general before quarantine and stuff like that, how many people actually found the time to knit? And I'm not just talking scarves or socks. I mean like big projects like sweaters or full knitted dresses and stuff like that. How many people actually do that? And even if people do find the time to do that, a lot of the time those people are elderly. And what I don't understand is why so little of the trailer seemed to be focused on elders. It was just like a split second at the end that really displayed elders in rocking chairs and stuff like that. And I mean, I like that there's a rocking chair and that there's the plopsy thing, but what I don't like is the fact that the plopsy thing is coming as part of the pack and not as like a patch. Because basically you have to buy Nifty Knitting in order to get Sims eBay, which I don't know, I don't like that. There's something about that just rubs me up the wrong way. Because I don't think that the Nifty Knitting pack is, in general, aside from the plopsy thing, as useful as a pack like, for example, Get to Work or Parenthood. You know, those are two of my all-time favorite packs because they give so much gameplay. And sure, Nifty Knitting is not a full expansion pack, but still, I think it's weird to me. When I found out from one of James Turner's videos that it was going to be the next pack, I was like, really? That? Because I obviously wasn't playing The Sims yet when that community vote came out, so I didn't even know that community votes were a thing. And then I found out that Laundry Day was a community vote and that they were thinking of never making it, and I was just blown away. I was like, why would they think that we wouldn't want that? Generations was like notoriously one of the best packs to come out of The Sims 3. It was amazing. And Laundry came with it, right? Yeah, it came with Generations, I think. Either Generations or Ambitions, which are two of the best packs from that specific game, I think. And I just can't believe that one of the developers was like, oh no, I wasn't really thinking about doing that. But anyway, I know that a lot of the game changers aren't supposed to say stuff like that, but I'm not a game changer, so I can be as controversial as I want. Not that I'm going to be. But, yeah, I guess that opinion is just a little bit, unshared by the community. Although I must say I'm not really part of the Sims community. Like, I don't go onto the Sims Reddit all that often, and the Sims forums I just generally kind of sort of ignore. Because I, get how to play the game now, and I don't really need that much support anymore. It's just like when I download a mod that confuses me, then I might hit up the forums, but otherwise, not so much. And at the moment I don't have that much custom content anyway. I only have a little bit, because I was really disappointed with the lack of hairstyles across all of the sexes. Like male, female, and the kids and stuff like that. And the fact that there's so little for toddlers. Like, I get that they came as a patch. I did get that, you know, from watching videos and stuff. But, it ticked me off that there were so few hairstyles for toddlers. Because, I mean, also the fact that all of the hairstyles are, like, relatively short. Because if you think about it, people's hair grows at different rates, right? And I know that when I was a toddler, I had pretty long hair, not from the get-go, but it grew pretty quickly, and I just wanted that representation, I guess. So yeah, I downloaded a fair amount of hair custom content, and then with me, it kind of goes like this: I'll download some game mods, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm not downloading custom content. And then I'll download a mod that requires like a specific item, like Pose Player. They say that you should have the teleporter, which means that you have to download that little knight thing. And then I start doing like custom paintings I'll download, and then from there on out it just spreads to clothing, just like immediately. It's just like wildfire with me, the Creator Sim custom content. I just immediately hop onto it as soon as my resolve has just dissolved. But so yes. So that was a pretty quick transition for me into custom content. But this build challenge, you weren't allowed to use custom content, so I didn't. It's completely CC free. I didn't even use any like custom mods to build, because I was thinking of downloading that move mod, the m.o.v.e. I think mod, which lets you do things like wow, I just messed that up so badly, which lets you freely move things around, like rotate windows and rotate, you know, that debug plank that everyone uses. You can rotate it and use it on walls and stuff like that. So yeah, that seemed pretty interesting to me. Anyway, yes, but I haven't downloaded it yet. I was waiting because I tend to get like overexcited with those kinds of mods, so I wanted to first see, do I actually need it? But I don't seem to really be needing it right now yet, so yeah, for the moment I'm good. But as I like progress more with my building skills, because I have noticed an improvement since I started playing again, and especially I've noticed an improvement since I played in 2016, because let me tell you, I found some stuff on my gallery that was not cool. It was not good. But I did find one modern house on my gallery, which was really interesting, because I'm usually really bad at building modern, like ultra modern. But I found a build, and I actually remember vaguely building it. And I only had like 2 packs. I had Get to Work and Outdoor Living. So, I mean, I was impressed with that one, because nowadays it takes me a million packs just to make something look good. But back then, with my limited packs, I was impressed. I was better at building them than I am now. But yeah, I might do a walkthrough of that house, show you my old build. So I guess if you're interested in that, let me know. But yeah, so here's where I messed up and accidentally built a lounge downstairs. I don't know what went through my head at that point. I just sort of had an enormous brain fart and decided, yes, this is where the lounge goes, yes. And so that's what happened, and I just rolled with it. And also I realized that I put the TV in front of a door, but people do that in real life, like when they have those floor-to-ceiling windows and the doors and stuff like that. They'll just put furniture in front of stuff. I mean, we did that in my old house, where we had a really big like glass door arrangement onto the patio. The door basically, like in this house, spanned that whole wall. So yeah, we just had furniture in front of it, and then we just had a part of the door that was, you know, free for you to walk through, because it's not like there were elephants in the house, you know. Nobody needed those two enormous doors. So yes. And also one thing I really struggled with in this house was the color scheme, because with a more awkward shaped space like this one, I like to go for light colors to not make it feel cramped. But I'm really bad at doing black and white and stuff like that. I tend to go a bit overboard with colors, so trying to keep it that neutral color palette that's, I guess, trendy at the moment, that was difficult. But I think I fared okay with it. You know, not excellent or anything, but I think it was okay. Yeah, over there I tried to scale up a mirror. It really annoys me that you can't scale up mirrors, and I know that that's reaching for The Sims to make that possible, because of the way that mirrors, I guess, are programmed. But I was just still annoyed with that, because there are environmental, I guess, effects on paintings. You know, that shine on the paintings. I guess that's an environmental feature, but at the same time that's also a texture bake, so yeah, I don't really know how they do the mirrors, because I'm not far enough in my games course yet to know how to do stuff like that. I actually started going to uni during the quarantine, so yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm still too early on. I mean, we only just started 3D modeling, because the first part of my course was actually just 2D stuff like drawing and getting to know the programs. And then we had to create a 2D platformer game, which was so annoying. Just, I don't even have words. It was just awful. And the thing is, we weren't even graded on that specific module. So everyone just kind of did whatever, and then it just wasn't good. And the teacher was so disappointed. You could tell in his expression that he was disappointed in all of us. He had that I expected more of you look, and to be fair, he did spend a fair portion of the class downstairs playing video games with some of the other teachers, which was interesting. As someone that came from studying IT to studying game art, that was interesting. I was not used to that work ethic, I guess. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, school's pretty fun actually. I'm having a lot more fun now than I was when I was studying IT, so I am glad about that. But yes, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. It's so boring. It's so dull. I'm so sorry. I'm just running out of ideas of what to say. I'm really bad at describing things, because it's just like, and now I'm adding a table, and now I'm putting this on it, and now I'm doing this, and now I've moved to the other room, and it's just like, nobody wants to hear that. Or at least I don't want to hear that. I prefer when people ramble when they build, or when they play music, or I don't know. I'm not good at this yet. I'm just not good at it yet, so yes. Also, I left the wallpaper until really late, which I do find kind of odd for me to have done. I don't know why I did that. I don't always do that. I never did it in The Sims 3. I don't know why I've started doing it now. But, I mean, I guess that's just how it is. And also, if you saw, I placed a little bowl over there. Just with sort of the idea of it being a, you know, a bowl for your keys, or like a wallet or something like that. I mean, I wasn't allowed to use custom content, so I couldn't put like an actual one of those there, but if I could, I would have. So, yes. And also this flower box thing, I don't even know if those are flowers that can go in a box like that, because I have absolutely no concept of plant life. I'm really bad with stuff like that. I actually failed all of my biology exams at school, in high school. So, yeah, I'm clueless. But, I just thought that they looked pretty. You know, I'm not a big fan of orange, but I don't mind it in flowers. So, I decided to do that. And, then I had to stop myself from using that light everywhere in the house. I think I pulled it out a couple of times and put it in different rooms, and then I had to go and check, did I have it anywhere else in the house? Because in my last house build on my channel, I think I ended up reusing a bunch of lights. Also because I started building it before I bought a bunch of the packs I have now. So it got a little bit interesting. But yes. Also, I need to stop saying that. I constantly say that, especially when I'm recording. I don't even really say it that much in real life. That's like the word like. I don't say the word like that often in, like, casual conversation. There I go again. I don't say it that often in casual conversation, but I guess it's... I'm trying so hard not to say it again. I guess it's me trying to validate what I'm saying by making it a question, by adding the word like. So I will try to be actively more aware of that and not do it, because I know how annoying it is. I don't even like when other people do it, but I do it, and it's annoying as hell. But yeah, and now I'm just fixing up those panel... Oh, what are they called again now? Shutters. There we go, shutters. That's the word. Yes, I was just fixing up the shutters. You know, to see if my concept actually even worked. Well, I say concept like it's this big thing. If my idea even worked, because I really didn't know if it would look good. I was really hoping it would, and I think it looked okay. Like, you know, modern houses aren't really my style, but I could see myself living in a house like that. I don't know for how long I'd be able to live in a house with one bedroom, because I live with my mother, and I would very much like to have my own bedroom, but I guess you could turn the downstairs office into a bedroom as well. I mean, I still put it on the galleries and said that it was a one bedroom, but yeah, I guess you could make it a 2 or even 3 bedroom if you really wanted to. You could make the downstairs bathroom into a bedroom as well and just use the upstairs one. I actually don't know why I ended up putting in 2 bathrooms. I ended up with that really weird shape there because of the shell. And initially I was really frustrated with it because I was like, I don't know what to put here. But then I very quickly realized that the only thing that kind of made sense in a windowless room was a bathroom. And I know in American houses, at least I think from the American houses I've been in, from the few times I've been to the country, they don't have that many windowless bathrooms. A lot of the time they'll really try and have, you know, a window in a bathroom. But in my house, both the bathrooms, well, the toilet and the bathroom both don't have windows because I live in a flat. Or for those of you that don't know the word flat, apartment, sorry. Yeah, so they're inwards facing walls, the ones where the bathroom and the toilet are, so it's a bit unfortunate, but there's a vent thing on the wall, and oh, that's what I forgot to put in. I should have put a vent in the bathroom. Oh well. Just pretend it doesn't get all foggy. I mean, it doesn't in The Sims, but in real life it would get foggy very quickly if you decided to have a hot shower in that room. But anyway. So yeah, I just kind of customized this, like a cupboard arrangement, wardrobe, shelf unit thing. I just kind of added some stuff into it and like merged it together to make it look like it was a part of it, because there isn't really that much stuff in the game that you can put on those shelves that would make sense, because it's a really sort of almost rustic, repurposed wood looking thing, and so a lot of the stuff in the game doesn't really fit that vibe. Like all the tsutskas in the game are like fancy, to do with like bronze and you know, fancy metals and candles and stuff, and you wouldn't really have candles by your front door in that kind of a shelf unit, right? You'd more likely have them on like a side table or something. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. In fact, I probably am wrong, because my mother and I have furnished our house very interestingly. Because we're moving soon anyway. In a couple of years, we're moving countries actually. So we have just sort of lost the will to live with furnishing in our house. So everything is just kind of a little bit cluttered at the moment, at least until we move. It will be. So, yes. Yeah, I ended up putting this kids toy thing in there for a while, I think. I don't think I ended up putting it there because I figured with one bedroom, would they really have kids? You know, this is more like a young couple's house that maybe, you know, working couples, so both of them have jobs and they aren't at home too often. That's how they keep it so tiny. But yes, I like to think of, I guess, like small little stories for the people that live in the houses I build, because it makes it easier for me to give the house personality, because otherwise it just ends up looking so generic. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit with me well when my houses look that generic. So yes, I put these little animal things there. I ended up not putting any animal beds or feeders or anything like that in the house. I did want to, but I don't know, I figured it lost the ability to speak. I figured it didn't really go that well with the house. You know, it's kind of more of a working professional's house than a we have time to walk the dog house. And I could have given them a cat, but I just decided not to. Like, I don't even have any excuses for that. I just decided not to do that on a whim. So, yeah. I've been trying to find an excuse to use that chaise longue in a house for so long now. But because it's so modern, it just never fits into any of my houses. But one thing I have been doing recently a lot is using custom paintings. I actually built a really modern, like, celebrity mansion style house in the Del Sol Valley world, you know, right at the top of that Celebrity Hills kind of area. So I built a house there, and there were just so many walls. Like, it ended up being so big because it was based off of an image I found on Google, that I just ended up building, building what? Oh my god, I can't talk! I ended up importing some custom paintings I found on the gallery. I've been thinking about making some of my own custom paintings, but because I've been playing so much with my legacy family and none of them are painters at the moment, I just haven't really gotten around to it, but I might do it. If you have any ideas for paintings that I could do, then please let me know. I could really use the help, because I'm really not that creative with stuff like that on my own. I really struggle. So any excuse to get outside assistance, I will just take. So yeah, here in the end, at that bit where I used all of those panels to fake a wall, I did want to put a little balcony area there, but I ended up getting rid of it because I figured it might go against the rules, and I definitely didn't want to go against the rules, like, flat out. You know, bending the rules is different than outright breaking them. So I didn't want to do that because I really wanted to have my submission count. Because I spent so long in this house, already by this point, that I felt like it would be a waste of time if I messed up now. So, yeah, I was very careful. And then there again, I ended up deleting that and not having it be a closed room outside because I figured, oh, well, it wouldn't be allowed. Or it might not be allowed. So, yeah, I tried to play by the rules as much as possible. Which is something that I do a lot. I generally don't rebel too much with stuff like this. Or with anything else in general, really. Yeah. And I guess it is a little bit weird that there are 2 front doors to the house. Looking at it now, it is a bit odd. But, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't have any excuses by this point. I'm just a weird builder. Like, looking back on my builds now, I realize how odd they are and how bizarre at times they can be, but yeah, in the moment I thought, this is fancy. This is some good stuff I've got going here. But now I'm just like, what was I doing? Like, what is this? What is this? Ah, God. But yes, so now I'm just moving on to the wallpapering, which I stayed relatively plain with that. You know, I didn't decide to go too fancy with it because, I don't know, the house wasn't giving me that vibe. It was giving me more simplistic vibes because the shape itself is quite interesting, so I didn't want the colours outside to be too interesting because the colours inside are interesting, I guess. Well, I mean, interesting is a relative term. I guess strange would be a better word. But yes, so the actual outside of the house didn't take me that long. In part because I didn't have to build it, which I was actually quite glad about. I might do another shell challenge in the future because it actually took away a lot of the work. So I could really focus on detailing the inside of the house, because a lot of the time I end up just not detailing my houses on the inside because I get so focused. I become so focused on building the outsides and making them look really nice from, you know, I guess map view or afar, that the inside sort of falls out of focus for me, which is probably not the best habit, seeing as your Sims mainly live inside their houses and not outside them, I guess, unless you're doing like a rags to riches or I guess living as a gardener sim, then maybe, but otherwise, yeah. And I also decided to give the house a pool. It's not the biggest pool, but it's a pool, so. Yeah, and then here I decided to make the backyard much smaller, also in part because then I didn't need to fully close it, so it wouldn't really be a room, which I thought was probably a smarter approach. You know, with these kinds of challenges, a lot of the time that I spend on the house is just time thinking, okay, how can I make this be legitimate? How can I not break this rule? Instead of just thinking, oh, this looks good, I'll do this, because you have to really like pay attention to the rules, because it's not your challenge, you know, you're building according to what someone else wants, essentially, and their rules could be very different to yours, so. Yes, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's late where I am, it's 7:30 already, and I've been up since 5, I think, this morning. Yes. I don't know, I've been sleeping really badly lately. I think it has to do with the changing of the seasons. The changing of the seasons is always weird for me. And that sounds like such a prissy thing to say, but it's true, I swear. It's true. I struggle so hard with it. And one thing I also struggled with was this, trying to get this to actually be closed. Because trying to build a wall out of a not wall is harder than you'd think. But yeah, in the end I actually reduced the size of that so that you could still see a part of the white wall behind it from there, because it became a bit like a retaining wall for that window. Even though it isn't a particularly private area, the private area is actually at the front of the house, the bedroom. But it has quite a small window, because I figured, you know, in a house like this where you have all these big windows, you probably wouldn't be spending too much time in the bedroom unless you're, I don't know, sleeping. So, yes. I didn't go overboard with like detailing outside in the house, in part because I forgot, and also because I guess I forgot because I didn't really think it was that necessary in this house, because there's a lot of stuff to do inside, and also because, you know, when you're sitting inside you can just look up and 9 times out of 10 there's glass above you, which I honestly think is pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't mind having a house with a glass roof one day. I think it's really cool. It gives me such Doctor Strange vibes because of the like that house, what's it called, like the Institute or something, the, you know, the place where all of his magical things are stored. I think it's called like an institute or something. Anyway, Yeah, I don't know why I decided to try wood planks inside there for a second, but that was quite awful. But then I settled in the end with this sort of brick pattern, which, even though there isn't really any brick on the outside, I decided that it just made sense because there's plaster on the outside, I guess like a concrete plasterish type of situation. So in my head, I guess I was thinking, well, they might have been covering up bricks with it, so some of the walls might just be exposed. And then over here with the fireplace upstairs, I actually struggled a lot because I decided that I wanted to oh my god, I wanted to do one of those like built-in fireplace things, but I quickly realized that it was just taking up too much space in such a narrow house. To have such a wide fireplace just didn't make much sense to me. And then I ended up actually deleting one of the outer walls, and even though I put it back, I wasn't sure if that was allowed, so I ended up freaking out and undoing. But yeah, I mean, in a bigger space, I think that this kind of a thing with that window there, that looks pretty cool. But just not in that space. It was just not the right thing. One trick I like doing with fireplaces now, though, is using those like over stove top ventilator airway thingies. I really don't know what they're called. You can tell I don't spend any time in kitchens. But I ended up scaling up. Did I scale it up? I don't know. Anyway, I ended up putting some of those above it to make it look like the fireplace actually came out of the wall a little bit, because I mean, I guess that's kind of a realistic thing with such big fireplaces. When they're just those like the thin fireplaces, then you know they'd kind of be built in. But with a big fireplace like that, I don't think so. I think that then it would be less like that and more like, I guess, what I do. I haven't done it yet, but you will see in a second. But yeah, I really don't know why this video became so long. If I knew, I would tell you, but I really don't know, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because let me tell you, I didn't want to do a voiceover this long. You don't want to watch a video this long, so next time I will do better. I promise. I will try to do better. And if I don't do better, then you can let me know in the comments and I will beg for forgiveness. Oh, I'm so stupid. But yeah, so here you can see I did that, and I didn't make them stick out too far. You know, when I scaled up the shorter one, that was just sticking out a bit too far. But these, I think they were just, you know, just right. So yeah, and then it left a tiny little edge, which meant I had to put less stuff. Which is always good. Less is more, always. But yeah, then I did end up deleting that back wall just so that I could place a painting. But I put it back, so it's fine. I put it back so no one will ever know, except for if they watch this video, then they will know. And I'm gonna try and link this video on my build on the gallery, just so that, you know, if anyone just finds this on the gallery and they're confused, which they might be, because my builds tend to be a little odd, at least in my opinion. They're like not as normal as some other people's. So I think that this is, you know, a slightly better explanation than just than just going on the gallery and looking at the crappy little preview pictures, because honestly those preview pictures are awful. They've always been awful ever since The Sims 3. I don't know what the gallery was like in The Sims 2 because I never had custom content in The Sims 2. In fact, I started playing The Sims 2 when The Sims 4 came out, because they had that free, you know, that secret code thing where if you entered it, you got a bunch of Sims 2 packs for free. So I did that. And by that point, I don't think that the Sims 2 gallery was even really a thing anymore. I don't even know if it's even still live. I'm actually going to look that up. I'm curious. Sims 2 gallery. I'm curious. No, it's just on like the Sims resource and stuff. Wow. How old is The Sims 2 actually? When did it come out? Sims 2 release 2004, wow. Wow, it's old. I actually remember seeing Sims 3 ads on TV when I was like 8. And I loved them so much. The one with the babies, and I think there was a clown. And oh my god, they were amazing, the adverts. You don't really get Sims ads on TV anymore, at least not for The Sims 4. I don't get any. Because I guess they mainly advertise online now, which does make sense, but at the same time, I do miss that. I miss seeing that stuff. But I don't know, I feel like The Sims 4 is like that perfect girl at school with no personality, whereas The Sims 2 was just completely dysfunctional. It was just the emo kid, and The Sims 3 was, like the kid with the big round glasses that was smart, but not the most beautiful. Although, to be honest, everyone says that the Sims in The Sims 3 were ugly, and whilst I get that, I played with so much custom content that I never had that problem. Like, honestly, I never found them ugly, because I had so many sliders for the face that I just never struggled. Whereas now in The Sims 4, I don't really need custom sliders, because I guess I get all the customization I need. But I do have a default skin overlay now in The Sims 4, because I don't like The Sims 4 base skins. And also the fact that all the darker skins have that weird white, that like pale patch in the middle of the forehead. Grim Cookies actually made a video on that, and that's where I became aware of it, because I'd already been playing with the default replacements by that point, and then I took them out of my game for a second to have a look, and I saw, like, wow, he's right, it's awful. And I honestly just find it astounding that it takes The Sims years and years to respond to, you know, community feedback with stuff like that, but it takes modders 24 hours to come up with a fix. I don't understand it, because surely as a game developer, and that's coming from someone now that is studying to be a game developer, surely customer satisfaction is your utmost priority, because customers are what make a successful game. Like, you don't just bring out a crap game and then boom, it's successful. No. The customers have to actually want to play it, and if the customers are pissed off, then they're not going to want to play it. At least that's how I thought the logic would be, but apparently not, so, you know. But I am quite excited for the new rumours, because there's this new rumour that the newest expansion pack after Nifty Knitting is going to be like an Alpine themed one, and I actually live in Europe by the Alps, so I think that could be quite fun, but I just hope it's not based off of my country, because I don't like the people here. Like, there's a lot of ignorance here, and I mean, of course, I also fall subject to that, because I grew up here, so a lot of the time I can't help it, but I still try to educate myself. But a lot of the people here just aren't interested in the outside world. Like, seriously, you ask them where some place is, and they go, I didn't even know that was a place. So, that just annoys me, that kind of a mentality. But anyway, if it's based on just, like, the Alps, generically, not specifically related to a country, then that's fine. Because I was actually talking to a friend the other day, and she said that she doesn't like the fact that there are, like, country flags and stuff like that in The Sims now. And I agree, you know. When The Sims first came out, the creator said that specifically he wanted to not have The Sims, for example, speak English, because he wanted all Simmers to feel a connection to the characters and not feel, you know, like, I guess, excluded by language. And whilst I find it awesome that now there are things like hijabs and Christmas trees and Hanukkahs and stuff like that in the game, you know, I think that flags is taking it too far, because that's really country specific, and I don't think that you should have that, because The Sims don't live in any real countries. They live in places like Del Sol Valley, and Newcrest. Those are not real places. So anyway, I just find that weird. You know, leave that kind of thing up to the CC creators. I mean, that's what they do best. So anyway, yeah, now I'm just moving on to the upstairs lounge. That feels like such a rich person thing. Like, who else would have 2 lounges except for someone with like a townhouse or a mansion? It's so redundant. But yeah, this house has it too. I mean, I guess you could actually turn it into a studio apartment if you really wanted to, or you could even turn it into apartments. Like downstairs have an apartment and upstairs have one. I mean, of course, they wouldn't be identical apartments, but they would still be apartments, which would probably actually make more sense than it currently does. But I didn't think that far, because of course I didn't. I was too busy making sure that not everything was brown or black or white. And then up here I actually went a little bit gung-ho on the colours with the carpets, and then I had to tone it down a little bit. And I actually went with like a fluffy one for this second carpet here, because it looked, that one, it looked empty without a carpet under there, you know, like, you know, when it gets empty. I'm talking crap, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then for the bedroom, I went for sort of a bit of a boho look with, like, the I keep mixing the two up, the eco-living, bed with, like, the wool ball. And I actually think that that's a teaser for the Nifty Knitting Pack, that they had that big ball of yarn, basically, on that bed. Because, realistically, would anyone do that? Like, unless that ball of yarn is your version, your equivalent of a teddy bear, because, you know, some people don't have a teddy bear, some people have like a blankie, or I have a pillow that, you know, I sleep with that is like my teddy bear. So then I understand it in that context, but it's an adult bed, and generally in The Sims they don't do that with adult beds, so I think that it was a teaser for Nifty Knitting that, I don't know, everyone just overlooked. Also, if you hear weird banging, it's my cats knocking at my door, like, let me in, because usually my door's open, but because my mother is watching TV, I have to close my door when I'm recording. So my cats are like, you're violating my rights to be in every room in this house. Yeah, my cats basically run this house. This is not a human-run house, it's a cat-run house. We are just the servants. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because my cats are amazing, they're wonderful. One of them actually behaves a bit like a dog. You can play fetch with him and he'll bring the ball back to you. It's so sweet. It's so stupid, but it's sweet. But yeah, look at that, like, yarn ball thing. Tell me that isn't like a teaser thing. Like, tell me. That is totally a teaser. Anyway, I've been looking for an excuse to use that big mirror ever since I got it, because it's like, it reminds me of Cambodia, and I really like that kind of, you know, like Morocco all the way to Cambodia, that kind of design in that region of the world I think is really pretty and aesthetic. So I tried to work it in here in the bedroom. I think I did an okay job. Not a fabulous job, but like an okay job. Like, she goes okay. And it's really unfortunate that that cupboard only comes in open. I wish it also came in closed. Because, like, I get it gives it like a lived-in feel, but I don't know, this house just gives me showroom vibes. You know, it's like, there's clutter, but there's not enough clutter to make it feel lived in. And it looks deliberate. That's the word. It looks like deliberate with where everything is. And so I kind of furnished it in a more showroomy way and not in a, like, family lived in way. I mean, I've also been watching a lot of Queer Eye recently, and so there's definitely inspiration coming from there. But yes, and then here I just decided to put like a little stool thingy. I did want to put the poof, but it only comes in eccentric colours. I might actually do a recolor for it. I need to find out how to do that properly, because thus far I've only made one actual physical custom content thing, because I've always made poses for The Sims, ever since The Sims 3. That's actually what got me into like 3D modelling and Blender and stuff like that. But so I just recently started making custom content for The Sims 4, and it's a little bit of a bumpy process. I almost said progress. I'm so stupid. I've been up for too long. When I'm done recording this, I'm going to bed. Even though it's not even 8 o'clock yet, I'm going to bed, and I'm sleeping until tomorrow. And my grandmother's visiting tomorrow, because they finally allowed trips between England, where she lives, and where I live. So we're fetching her at the airport tomorrow, so that's going to be stressful. And there's lots of mask wearing, and I am a fan of the mask wearing because it's a good way of protecting everyone, but I do struggle to breathe in masks. Also because I have a really small face, like a deceptively small face. It doesn't look as small as it actually is, so I have to wear kids' masks, which is so pathetic. I'm realising now, saying it's so pathetic. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh god. Okay, but anyway, and even the kids' masks are just like slightly too big for me. So it interferes with my glasses, and then my glasses fog up and the air like goes back in, and I end up just breathing in all the carbon dioxide, and it's stressful for me to wear a mask. But my mother has immune system problems, so I'm one of the people that, even though there's not an obligation to wear masks outside anymore where I am, I still have to wear them. And you know, I'll gladly do it for her, but it's just not the easiest thing to do. But it is a thing I can do. You know, these people that are saying, oh, I don't see why I should be wearing a mask. No, that is not how that works. You wear a mask because you're not the only person on Earth. You know, that's my kind of mentality about it. You know, it's not such a huge inconvenience that you can't wear a mask. I think the only people that should be, you know, exempt from wearing a mask are, I don't know, people with facial deformities that physically cannot wear one of those masks because it doesn't fit their face, and people that physically can't breathe. Like, for example, asthmatics, or, I don't know, people that are prone to panic attacks. I think that they are the only people that really shouldn't be wearing masks. And now looking at this house, I think I forgot to put a railing on the stairs outside. Oh no! Oh god, now I have to watch and actually see if I do that. Oh, I hope I do. Otherwise that's tragic. That's so dangerous. So yeah, you if you decide to download this house, you might have to do that for me. I'm so sorry. I've been so chaotic these past few days. I'm so sorry. But I had to get this done like now, because basically the hand-in date is by the 20th and it's the 16th now as of the time of recording. So I have to hand it in on Monday? Yes, Monday. My grandmother will be here on Monday, so I definitely won't remember to do it on Monday, so I'm going to have to do it before. And that's going to be chaotic. But doable. Definitely doable. I'm actually really enjoying playing with The Sims again at the moment. You know, it's always been such a big part of my life. I basically grew up playing The Sims because I didn't have any real people to play with. No, that's not 100% true. I did have people to play with, but God, that sounds weird. I'm almost 20. That sounds so weird to say. But yeah, when I was younger, I didn't have too many friends. You know, being like the only foreigner in the tiny little village I lived in. Now I have friends. But I didn't used to. So, you know, I guess I did kind of use The Sims as a substitute, and it definitely did help me. I mean, I learned a lot of grammar through The Sims, like, for example, the word charisma and the word trait, and, yeah, I mean, I only have positive things to say about The Sims. Except for the price. The price was always an issue. I actually had all expansion packs for The Sims 3, over a series of years, mind you. I didn't do like I did with The Sims 4 now, which was splurge within 1 month. I mean, sure, there were sales now, and back when I was buying The Sims 3, a lot of the time there wasn't. But, yeah, I mean, I did also own a lot of the store content for The Sims. Not back when it was popular to make Sims 3 videos, though. I only started buying custom content, store content, towards, you know, the end of The Sims 3, like when Island Living and stuff like that started coming out. Because then I was finally, you know, I had a bit of a salary myself from work. Because where I live, part of college is like an apprenticeship kind of thing, so you can also earn money whilst you're studying. At the school I'm at now, that isn't a thing, but at the school I was at then, it was a thing, so I could actually afford the stuff with my own money. But now I have an allowance, so I need to be a bit more careful with money. I really need to get better at that, because I give out all my money for The Sims. And it's so sad, but I just love it so much. And yes, I realize that putting blue tiles in a bathroom might not be the most conventional thing, but I think it's pretty nifty, you know? I wouldn't mind that. In my old house in England, we actually had like a completely, oh, what's the word? Those like little tiles. Mosaic? No. Yes? Like a mosaic bathroom with like the dolphins in the tiles and stuff like that. We had one of those and it was completely blue. But I was 3 when we lived in England, so I don't 100% remember it. I've just seen it in, you know, photos and stuff. Not that we have so many photos of the bathroom, but, you know, my mother has pictures of like my first bath and stuff like that. Which I just find so cringy, but she finds adorable, so I can't fault her for it, because I have such baby fever at the moment. It's the season for me. In the summer I struggle with it so much, but I am actually excited for the potential baby update that might be coming soon for The Sims, because I really hope that we can have the babies be out of the bassinets. Like, I really hope so. You have no idea how much I want / need that. Because in The Sims 3, my Sims would just take their baby with them everywhere. You know, like they'd go to graduation with the baby. Because that way I didn't have to pay for a nanny or like a babysitter, because sometimes my Sims couldn't afford that, you know, especially when I had just started out playing with a family. So I liked that experience of having to, you know, deal with the baby all day. Whereas now, babies are just a bit of a pain in the behind. And I'll be honest with you, so are toddlers. Because I like the gameplay with toddlers now, but like the fact that, the whole responsibility thing and, you know, all of those things from parenthood come into play. They were fun for like 5 seconds with my first generation of parenthood babies. That was fun, but now that my Sims have, you know, been around a while and I've been dealing with them for so long and there's so many of them, it just becomes too much work. Like, honestly. But you know, sometimes I enjoy it, because I do like when my Sims end up developing that responsible trait and stuff like that, but it just takes so much work, especially when you have more than one child in the house. Because when I'm just focusing on one kid, it's like fine, because I like having, well-behaved kids, and then when they become teenagers I can sort of start deciding on their actual personalities, as they gain more traits. And one thing I must say is I don't understand why they reduced the number of traits in The Sims 4. The traits really made The Sims in The Sims 3, and if I had to pick one thing that absolutely I just do not like about The Sims 4, it's the fact that they only have 3 traits. Because sure, you can earn more traits, but you could do that in The Sims 3 as well, like the fertility trait. And speaking of, I've now had 3 generations of Sims have the fertility trait, and I still haven't had triplets. And I don't know what's up with that. What is going on there? And I've done all of those like cheaty things where if you listen to kids' radio, or you get the fertility massage, or you watch kids' TV, then that should raise the chances. And I've had 3 generations do it, and still no triplets at all, not even twins? Like, really? Anyway, I don't know what's up with that. If you know what's up with that, then please tell me, because I'm desperate to make my Sims' lives hell with triplets. You have no idea how much that's on my bucket list. But yeah, basically the inside of the house is almost done now. I don't know why I left the office until like very last, but I did. So yeah, now I'm just working on the landscaping, which I really kept minimal because, in part because I didn't know what to do, but mainly because I just kind of thought it went with the house better. It's kind of a more minimalistic on the outside house. I don't know how I managed to do that, but somehow I did. But yeah. So, anyway, we are actually almost done with the house now. I can't believe it. I'm almost done. The screenshots will actually be coming up pretty soon. Now I'm just fixing up all of this second wall stuff, actually putting it on the second layer. I don't know why I did it on the first layer. Don't even ask, because I don't know. I'm such a chaotic builder sometimes, I astound even myself. But yeah, the shelves and stuff like that, a lot of them are blank, just because I ran out of stuff to put on them. So there's also, furnishing opportunities for you. If you download the house and you want to personalize it a bit, then by all means go crazy. Go crazy, go loco. But yeah, then I've finally moved on to the office, which is actually one of my favorite rooms. I feel like it's pretty cozy, and I actually end up putting the desk up against the big windows there, which I think would be really nice. Perhaps a little distracting, at least for me it would be quite distracting, but still pretty nice to, look up from your work and see the outside, which I think could be quite enjoyable. But yeah, the room does end up being a little bit brown, so if you don't like that, then you can just, recolor some of the swatches of some of the stuff. I'm still getting used to having to work with swatches all the time. So I must say that it is a very sort of daunting experience for me, because the only time I've ever dealt with swatches before was in The Sims 2, where everything I built looked like a potato. I was really bad at building in The Sims 2. But, so yeah, I have been struggling with it a little bit, but just because it kind of restricts what objects you can use if they don't have a swatch you like. So yeah, for example, the one bookshelf I wanted to use, that really simplistic modern one, I can't use like ever, because it only comes in 3 swatches, and if I want a specific swatch, it's just not there. And I guess that does kind of promote you to use more of the items in game, which is cool in a way, but at the same time it's like, I want the choice, like, don't make me make the choice, let me make the choice. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway. It is what it is. I've stopped making sense. It's so dumb. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it just turned 8 o'clock, which means bedtime. I'm actually quite excited to go to sleep. School was pretty exhausting today. We just started using Maya, and I'm actually honestly glad that I started using Blender before. I taught myself Blender, And I'm glad I did, because it's made the transition a lot easier, because a lot of my classmates are really struggling to just like completely with no experience with 3D now start using 3D software. So, you know, I can only feel bad for them, because I remember learning Blender, it was a nightmare. Although I must say, Blender was easier to learn than Maya. Maya, I really feel like I had to be in class to learn instead of teaching it to myself, because the shortcuts and stuff, you can't find all of them online. Like, I'd Google some of them and nothing would come up, and then I'd ask my teacher and she would know, so. Anywhoozy, now we're just moving on to the garage, and I decided to sort of make a little bit of a maker space here. You can, of course, upgrade it. I ended up putting in sort of a little bit of a home gym situation, and then like a workbench. And that's basically it. I did think about putting a bar in there as well, but at the same time, in real life, how many people have a full bar in their houses? How many people can you think of that actually have a full, like, homemade bar? Because I can't think of anyone. I can think of people that have alcohol at home, or I guess nectar, or juice, as they call it in The Sims, but not a full bar. I can't think of that. So yes, now I'm just putting the lights in the pool, so that you can see at night, because I think swimming at night is pretty cool, actually. It's so random, but I just think it's pretty cool. Anyway, and yeah, then I just put in the mailbox, and then I'm done. So yes, I'll leave you with the screenshots. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, then please leave them down below in the comments. And yes, I will see you later. Bye, guys.